Welcome. My name is Dr. Bob Saul, or some people refer to me as Dr. Bob. I'm a physician, pediatrician, medical geneticist, father, grandfather, husband, and a citizen. I'm excited to be a part of the beloved 7-day experience for the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group. Uh, I invite you to turn in other days for other experts via the app that you're using today. I hope that you will return on Saturdays at this time for conscious parenting. Let me begin, as I always begin, with just reminding me what conscious parenting is. It's a conscious awareness of the learned ability of parents to understand their reactions with their children and to alter their responses to maximize positive responses and to minimize negative responses. Now, that's a mouthful, and I realize it's hard, but the bottom line is it's very important that parents be aware of where they are in their relationship with their children, but they also understand where their children are in relationship to them, and that requires significant understanding of the developmental milestones of their children. We emphasized in the past the three significant components to conscious parenting. One is learning to be conscious of your surroundings, paying attention, understanding your own feelings and the actions of those feelings. Understand the feelings of your children and the actions of your children. Again, learning the developmental stages. Children respond very differently at different ages as they learn to interpret the world and respond accordingly. So learn, understand the dynamics of the relationships with your children, and alter the reactions that might need to be changed to maximize activities and to minimize negative responses. And again, I use the analogy of a stereo system. You can turn up the volume, you can turn down the volume, you can alternate between how the input is from the different speakers, you can turn up the treble or down the treble, the bass. So you need to alter and modulate your own responses accordingly. Again, there's significant traits, I think, that go along with conscious parenting. I've emphasized, and I think you can divide those into traits that are predominantly parental and traits that are predominantly citizenship related. I've previously talked about the citizenship ones: humility, sincerity, vulnerability, love for others, and forgiveness. Now, those are also very tied into parenting, but I've arbitrarily sort of said those are more citizenship related because they certainly have significant spillover into our reactions with our fellow citizens. The parental traits that I think are so important, I'll go through with you today. One is patience. Patience. It's an incredible virtue and so difficult to employ at times, especially when emotions are high and things are quite difficult. A self-awareness of the ability or the inability to have patience is so important. That's not a switch you can turn on or off. That's work. That's over time. You need to learn how to develop patience. And all of the things I'm talking about in terms of these traits, I recognize somebody might say, well, those are simple to do. But they're hard to employ. And I recognize that it takes work, it takes time, and it takes energy. Persistence. Parenthood requires a persistence that is because you are at times constantly pushed to the brink by your children, by the circumstances you're in, and you need to learn how to be persistent in terms of staying engaged, not disengaging. Optimism. Boy, that is hard, isn't it? It's a vital virtue. Bad things will happen. And we can continue to manifest gratitude and push forward. I don't think it is silly to be optimistic in the face of adversity. I think it's a virtue to be optimistic in the face of adversity and to see how you can see the positive and to see how you can move forward, beyond the negative. Again, this is hard work. Know how to change when it's needed and know how to not change when not changing is needed. And those are hard because sometimes you do need to change, accept that you did things wrong, and you need to accept that you need to change your responses. There are other times, though, when your children will push you, and because of your training, because of your learning, because of your quest to be the best parent you could be, that in these circumstances, change is not what I should do. That is, I know this is what we should be done, and despite the fact that you don't like what we're doing, this is where we're going. So I'm not going to change my response. That doesn't mean you become completely dogmatic. You always analyze and see if you need to change. But if you need to not change, if you need to stay firm with your response, do so. And again, that's hard. Sometimes distinguishing between the two is hard. Sustained involvement, like persistence, there should be no quit in parenting. And lastly, I would emphasize the importance of rational discourse. And let me define rational discourse for a minute. It's the ability to engage in a meaningful dialogue by listening to others and expressing one's view in a sensible fashion without demeaning others. This is a key virtue that I think we have not done well overall in our society, because let me look back at the key words in this. Rational discourse is the ability to engage in a meaningful, understand, listen to what people are saying and be meaningful in your interactions. A dialogue. That doesn't mean a monologue. That means a dialogue where both people get to express their views, and it's not just one shouting at the other. By listening, instead of talking all the time, listening to what they're saying, and then expressing one's view in a sensible fashion without demeaning others. That doesn't mean you should shout at somebody and call them stupid, or you're an idiot, or you're a moron, and I'm not going to pay any attention to you. Now, you might completely disagree with what they say, but you can still be respectful and how you end the dialogue in going forward. And that's so important, because it's too much demeaning and belittling is occurring these days. All of these factors, humility, sincerity, empathy, vulnerability, love for others, forgiveness, patience, persistence, optimism, sustained involvement, rational discourse, get me back to the 12 words that I've talked about before. For anything that happens in our community, I am the problem, I am the solution, I am the resource. We need to take personal ownership in what happens in our community, because I'm a firm believer that what happens in our community is completely tied into parenting, that the goal of parenting should be raising our children to be good citizens, people that care about each other, care for each other, and take care of each other. That's what citizenship is about. And that's what parenting should be about, because that's what we're trying to do within our own family. Take care. If a child has a problem, the parent has to say, I am the problem too. I have to take some personal ownership so I can understand and help them deal with it. I am the solution, and I will devote my resources to it. So those are key issues going forward. Please join me again on Saturdays as we discuss conscious parenting. What can you do in the interim? I would encourage you to go to the KSMG Media app on your phone. Go to the directory, go to the influencer, and find Dr. Bob. Purchase a copy of Conscious Parenting. It's an easy read and will help us going forward. Thanks for listening, and I hope you all have a great week. Please take care of each other.